Greetings, this is Adam Carlson from Chip Theory Games. Welcome. This is Too Many Bones. I wanted to give you a brief overview of one of our characters. One of our 4 characters in this game is Tantrum. Tantrum comes with a neoprene mat, this card here, which is an overview of all the sides of the dice, which are here. 16 custom unique skill dice for Tantrum, plus the 4 stat dice, initiative die, and his chip. Let's begin by diving in. I'm going to put Tantrum on the battle mat over here, just to set up some scenarios here. Let's put him up with 6 health in front of the dire wolf. And we're going to roll his initiative die to get him placed on the initiative meter. Looks like the dire wolf will be going first. Alright, so coming back over here, let's talk about the different skill dice. The first one being Rage. This is his Zerker profession line. We've got Rage, number 1. This is the die that he starts with when he starts the game. He'll start with that, and this is the counter die. And all of that is referenced on this sheet here. We've got Rage Progress, active slot, so he'll be playing with that up there, and it's a counter, which means as he will be upticking this, we'll be turning it up to 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, and then 2.0. And that will be the same for his second and third Rage die as he learns those skills as well. How this works is, if Tantrum has all 3 of these unlocked, they simply sit here on these skill slots. What they're showing here does not matter, but what it's showing up here is very important. We've got a 1.0. So when he opens the game, he has that up there. He will attack the dire wolf will be attacking first. So the dire wolf will be rolling the 4 attack dice on Tantrum. Dire wolf does 3 damage. So Tantrum will take 3 off, and he will uptick his rage counter 1, 2, 3 times, 1 for each damage that he took. And now it's Tantrum's turn, and he will roll his attack dice. He's got a dexterity of 3, so he's going to go ahead and do that. We've got 1 damage, but each time Tantrum makes an attack, he goes up 1 rage, up to the 1.8. Now, how this works is anytime during his turn, he can choose to do the benefit that's displaying on the die. Here we have an execute, and we have an advance. Now, the execute for the rage die number 1 works for level 1 baddies, and the dire wolf is unfortunately a level 5, so he won't be able to do the execute. By the way, all of the rage information is shown here on this reference sheet. But after applying that damage, and he does a lashback too, so Tantrum is hurting really bad now, but more on that later. So right now Tantrum will be putting up the backup plans, and he will be advancing his die. So this is how that works. He pulls that die back and puts up the next one at 2.0, getting it ready to uptick. Now, if Tantrum was already at 1.8 at the start of his turn, he can choose to advance, and then on his first attack, he could have upticked to 2.2. So it's important to keep an eye on that meter and work it during your turn, because you may or may not want to do it right away or wait until after you attack. So right now he's there, which is a good position to be in, because then the dire wolf will attack again, and he will be able to build that meter. Alright, so that's those. He also has the 4th die over here, and that line is called Anger Management. The star here shows that he can learn that right away. Anger Management is a plus minus with a number next to it. So it allows him to uptick the rage die or down tick it if necessary. The reason why you would want to down tick it is if you go too far in advance, you'll see this symbol here. That is a breakdown. And all of this, again, is on here. We've got breakdown. If breakdown is showing at the end of turn, we set active rage die to 1.0. So yeah, if you had worked yourself up all the way to this rage die and got to breakdown, and you had no way of down-ticking it back to 2.8, which is what you want, it's going to have to be reset at the end of your turn, unfortunately, and you have to start over again. We've got the green professional line is called the mimic line. We've got like a worm, like a wolf, and like a kobold. Each of these have their symbols. They're unique to that die. This one has a few poison counters. Poison armor. When hit by an adjacent baddie, you may place that number poison effect die on that baddie. So if I have this up on my active slot and the dire wolf attacked me, immediately I put a poison counter of 1 on there. And by the way, this is rolled on my turn. So if I rolled for my 3 dexterity, instead of rolling the third attack die, I rolled that one. There's one of 3 different results. You've got your poison counter 2, 1, or the bones, which is a miss, and it will go here if you choose to use it. Otherwise, we're putting it back. And then this here, I'm going to bring you over here to the axe collector. This allows you to uptick your axe collector by 1, and that die is exhausted. But back to the poison. If we land a poison 2 and we lock it in there, the next time Tantrum is attacked, he gets to drop a poison 2 effect die on the dire wolf, and then this is exhausted. Or we could do like a wolf. Like a wolf is, if you're hit by an adjacent baddie, you will do that much damage in return. So again, if the dire wolf attacks with this up there, he will automatically do 2 damage back, which is ironic. I mean, the dire wolf has the lashback too, and our Tantrum has the lashback too. So the lashback can't lash back a lashback. That kind of confused me for a second. So this one has the axe collector die as well. All 3 of these green ones do. And the axe collector, we'll get to that in a second after I talked about the kobold. The kobold has that little shield there. What that does is it gives you the hardy skill, and that's all in the baddies and skill encounter terms. We've got hardy, but we also talk about it here as well. Any turn this unit takes damage to its hit points or HP, including 2 damage, the total is reduced to 1. So with that up there, if the dire wolf attacked with the 4 attack dice, all of that is reduced to 1 damage rather than 4. Now the thing about that is, remember with the rage counting, he only goes up for every HP that he loses. So using the hardy will slow down your rage build, but it will definitely give you a little bit more survivability. So you'll have to decide when the best time to use this is. This 2 stands for how many rounds it's on there. The next time it's Tantrum's turn, it's down tick to 1, and then after that turn, on the start of his next turn, if that's showing a 1, he will just exhaust it and he's no longer hardy. So that's those 3. We've got the axe collector. Axe collector, again, I'll reference the sheet because everything is on here. We've got deal 2 damage to each non-adjacent baddie once per turn. Each time you use axe collector, reduce this die by 1. Alright, so Tantrum has to be not adjacent. So diagonal works, or just anywhere but those 4 spots to do damage. Now, if Tantrum is adjacent to this unit, but there's another one, he can use axe collector to do 2 damage, and he'll only be able to use it once per turn, and he will just down tick this die by 1 for that round. Now that die stays on that mat. There's another one that stays on the mat. This is the body count. We'll get to that when we get to number 16. Moving on to Intimidate. So we've got the Skirmisher line. All of these dice are part of the Skirmisher line, so we'll touch up on all of them. Number 9, we've got Intimidate. Intimidate, when rolled, you will apply it to a baddie and reduce the initiative by 3. Now, on Tantrum's turn, he rolls it. He will take that die aside. He'll apply it there. I put that die aside here to show, as a reminder, that this guy will bump down 3 positions, or 3 spots, after the round is over. In this case, after my turn, the round would be over. And since there's only 1 spot he can drop, that will happen like that. We will exhaust, and then when we start the next round, the baddies and gearlocks take their new spots on the initiative meter. Moving down here, you see this arrow. You need Intimidate to get Innervate. Innervate has this symbol here, which stands for jump. I'm going to reference the sheet here. We've got jump. Select any baddie before or after attacking and place yourself adjacent to it. So, quite literally, after rolling that, Tantrum will be able to jump to any one of these positions. If he wants to select another baddie to jump adjacent to it, he certainly can. Now, if he rolled attack dice with it, let's say I roll this here, I'm allowed to jump and then damage. If I had a new baddie, I could choose the new target and damage that target. Or I can damage that dire wolf. He would still be able to do the lashback, and then I can jump adjacent to another baddie. All right, so that's these 2. We've got Cripple and Strengthen. Cripple has this symbol right here. We've got a -1 attack. All right, so it's an attack mod. Alter your adjacent baddie's attack stat by the number. So if I roll this, I'll place that on there. The dire wolf's 4 attack stat on his turn is now reduced by 3. So it's essentially a nerf for the rest of the battle. We've got Strengthen. Again, the opposite, except it's for yourself. So you'll be able to strengthen. Now, this type of modifying die does not go on Tantrum, but rather it has to take an active slot. So when it's there, that's your reminder that you get to roll. It's your attack stat. So even though he has 3 dexterity, his attack stat is 4. In this particular situation, it does not help because I need a 4th dex to access this 4th attack die. But it is nice though. There is one side on here that has a blue with a sword. This is the one you really want. This is where you get to immediately do an attack stat training attempt. Upon locking that in and saving that die, then you do an attempt to train it. So this would be my training attempt. Unfortunately, I got a bone, so I don't up my attack stat. If I were successful, though, I would take one of these dice and lock it in at 1, and then I would immediately have 4 attack stat for the remainder of the adventure. Moving on to Way of the Wild and Way of the Ebon. We've got 5s on that little symbol. That's called Disable. So when rolling that, we get to place a Disable die. I've got them here. This here is Disable. It will go on a level 5 or lower baddie. So I simply exhaust that and apply that like that. And that prevents Lashback 2 from being able to occur for the remainder of the battle. So that's very, very nice, especially for the dire wolf. I don't want to have any lashbacks. So if I was going first, I would open with this Disable, be able to drop that Disable on him, and then apply my damage to it, and he can't lashback. That's pretty cool. Way of the Ebon, you'll see this symbol here. This is a taunt. We have an additional taunt die here. Now with this taunt, it's not a very useful skill for solo play, but definitely in group play, you're going to want to play with this taunt. The taunt will also, because it's an effect die, it goes on the gear lock itself. Now, anything that uses these dice, they go in the active slot. But if it uses the black dice have to go on the gear lock to show the effect. Now, with Tantrum, moving around the mat, if he's adjacent to baddies, it forces the baddies to redirect their attack onto Tantrum. And it will stay there for the, I'm just reading about taunt right here, until the start of this unit's next turn. So this will last for 1 round, and then it will come off at the start of Tantrum's next turn. Alrighty. And then we've got Horn of the Zerker, which is a consumable. This one has a couple of really nice skills, and then it has 4 sides that are kind of a miss, a bones, and then a recycle. And you basically roll this until you get one of the really good results, which is a Disorient All, which is a stun effect die to all baddies, level 5 and below for the round. So you'll apply one to every one of them, and they all miss a turn. Otherwise, if you get this symbol here, we've got Party Inspire. Party Inspire, all gear locks move to the top of the initiative meter at the end of the round. So especially if you had a big party or a big group, you will take all of your gear locks and move them to the top. You will keep their initiative order. Like if Tantrum was before patches, Tantrum will still be before patches up here, and all the baddies get pushed down. So it should be all gear locks and then all baddies after this is applied. And this is consumed. The other 2 consumable dice, they actually remain on the mat. This is the body count. Body count is every time Tantrum personally defeats a baddie, he will up his body count. This can carry from battle to battle, and so over the course of a couple of battles, he might acquire a few body counts. At any time, though, if he needs to, I think this is during his turn. It says, yep, okay. So he uses it on his turn, and he will bring the 4 all the way back down to 0, and he will add 4 health to the gear lock instantly. So now we've given a quick rundown of the skills. We've got the backup plan as well. Get Angry with 1 bone allows you to uptick your rage counter. 2 bones for Calm Down, it would allow you to downtick. This is very important. If you're too high at 2.0 and you need to get back to 1.8 to advance the die, you'll need to calm down. That's the way to do it. There's nothing at 3. At number 4, if Tantrum has 4 backup plan bones saved up, he'll be able to use Axe Collector, which immediately grants him 3 axes, which is the most on this die. And again, he will only be able to use these once per turn. This also, by the way, the Axe Collector does not use your dex, so you'll be able to do it on top of your dex roll. You just have to have the axes. Recoup. If Tantrum has Recoup, again, all of these are on the backup plan breakdown on the sheet. Recoup is heal for 4 HP. So again, Tantrum will immediately gain 4 HP, but he is maxed at this number. We got 4 and 2, so in this particular case, it would only grant me 1 HP. So I probably wouldn't do Recoup, because it's not a very good use of that backup plan. Once you get 5 here, you can't add any more. You can only hold 5 at once, but you can do like Get Angry, and then you shift all these back over here, and then you Get Angry. And then you have room for saving 1 more. So, thank you for joining me. My name is Adam again. This is Tantrum. We love Tantrum. Tantrum is a lot of fun. He's kind of a tanky unit, a lot of health, a little bit of management. As you can see, the difficulty level is solo and co-op is up there for this one. There's a little bit to manage, but if you like a challenge, I definitely recommend playing with Tantrum. Thank you. Adam out.